Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are now looking at the Mahavakyas, essentially Brahmatmaikatva Bodhera Moksha Siddhati Nanyatha. Only by the knowing that I am, the self that I am is nothing but the self in all. Sarva bhutastam atmanam, sarva bhutani chamatmani. The self that I am is the self in all, and everything is in me only. That clear understanding is nothing but aham brahmasmi, or I am Brahman, and that's being the Acharya now teaching the highest philosophy by negating what I am not, now claiming what I am. And that is claiming is a direct and immediate knowledge, and therefore it is essentially aparoksha jnanam. So that has to be recognized or realization of who I am. So by reanalyzing the problem, I have to realize that aham brahmasmi, and that's what is called the self-realization. Not self-knowledge in a sense, and it is recognition of my true nature. Not only recognition, I have to claim myself, I am the Brahman. So someone went to Swamiji, said, I have been listening to the Vedanta for so many years, and now I understand I am Brahman. How come I am suffering? So he says, that means he has not understood I am Brahman. So aham brahmasmi, understanding requires, the very essence of understanding requires, there is nothing other than me. So there is war, vishokam, there is cannot be any suffering at all, because suffering comes only from something other than that I want and I don't have it. So I want to know Brahman is another longing for. So if you ask everybody who was Vedantins also, says, have you realized that you are Brahman? So not yet. So what do I have to do? I have been listening and I have to meditate on it. So essentially that I have to meditate on it means I have not recognized or understood clearly. Actually there is nothing to meditate because it is me only. So the one who is meditating is the one who is talking about the Brahman. So the meditator and the meditation itself is Advaita. So in the Avadhuta Gita, it says, Aham jata param jayam akhandam khandate kadham. How can I differentiate? I am a meditator and this is to be meditated, and that which is indivisible and that which is Brahman, there cannot be anything of that type. Even the meditation is only because I am not able to firmly abide in the knowledge that aham brahmasmi, because of the lingering vasanas which are there, ragadveshas are still not there. Therefore when I get into transactional world, I take myself, I am not I am as I am, because my understanding of aham brahmasmi fails through in those moments of intense attachments to the things. Therefore it is lack of clear claiming of that. Once I claim I am, that from abiding in the knowledge has to come. The abiding knowledge doesn't come only because of vasanas, does not go completely, and thermodynamically it is impossible to purify 100%. Therefore it is a constant nididhyasi tavyaha, one has to gain. But the intensity of disturbance and the frequency of the disturbance and the intensity of disturbance and recovery time from the disturbance goes down as one abides into this nature that aham brahmasmi. So it's not a discrete event, it is slowly because of the discreteness is lack of the purity of the mind, and one cannot become 100% pure because of thermodynamically it's not possible. But keep on doing until the body drops down, and therefore nididhyasana continues as long as the BMI is there. But as he go more and more, as he abides into it, then he firmly gets established in that. That's what is the Jivan Mukta is. Now we take sloka 225. It says, Brahma bhinnatva vijnanam bhavamokshasya karanam yena dvitiyamanandam brahma sampajyate buddha. Brahma vivruttvam vijnanam Brahma abhinnatvam vijnanam bhavamokshasya karanam yena dvitiyamanandam brahma sampajyate buddhu. So Brahma abhinnatvam vijnanam. So what is vijnanam? And what is Jnanam? This is the 7th chapter, is called Jnana Vijnana Yogam. So Vijnanam is clear understanding, is abhinnatvam. Aham and Brahma, there is no bhinnam, there is no difference. That means this I am Brahman has to be clearly understood, and that is the Vijnanam. Because Vijnanam is I am, not this is Brahman. So I have understood Brahman. That means I have not understood. That's what in the Kena Upanishad says, I understand Brahman. It says, it's not that I understand as an understanding, as a thought. By understanding that I am Brahman is realization, means recognition or claiming that I am that. One means this is mine. I am the totality. That has to be crystal clear understanding, even when everybody denies it. Hey, he is not realized, and somebody makes it. Nobody can test whether realized or not. And I don't have to go and test other Mahatmas. Hey, this Mahatma has realized, but that other Mahatma has not realized. So it's not meant for testing anybody, because I cannot test anybody. Somebody claims, hey, I have realized and such and so. But then how do we know? The one who has realized should know that I am Brahmasmi. It becomes evident through his expressions and his activities in the world, because once I know that I am, he is Purnaha, is complete. Therefore, his activities that I want it will not, there selfishness will not be there. And even it appears to be there from other people, it's only for the Loka Kalyanam. Whatever he gains or this is only for the distribution. He may say, I need this food or I need this food and all that. Oh, he also has the desires, but I don't have. I also have desires. What's the difference? But his desires is only because of the particular body is trained to have that, and therefore to keep the body conducive to the previous habits, he doesn't have to deviate it. But if it doesn't possible, then he takes whatever is given. It's because of once you surrendered, in fact, the Lord himself takes care of yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Say Mahatmas, yoga and kshemam are taken care of by the Lord himself. There's a beautiful story of the Tapovan Maharaj. Those who want to know, says there is a Ishvara Darshanam. So Ishvara Darshanam is Swattva Darshanam. So if you go and read the book, and it's very contemplative text, and there he gives an example of his own experiences, where the two examples are given. Says once he was going through into the forest. At this time there are a lot of thieves in those forests, trying to rob even the Mahatmas also, because whatever the possessions they have, they used to take away. So that Tapovanji didn't have anything at all, not even the food to carry around, and he got lost in the forest. And the thieves came, or the king of the thieves came and saw him, and he came to rob him, but found out that he doesn't have anything to rob, and he is lost itself. So he himself shared his food with the Mahatma, and asked him to take rest and guide him through the forest, so that the Mahatma can go without any problem. So Lord himself takes care of once you surrender to the Lord, it is his become ananyas chintayanto mājinah paryupasate tesham yoga kshemam vahamyaham. So I take care of their yoga and kshema, what need to be gained and what is to be preserved. He himself will take care. That's the promise of the Lord. And another incident, the quotes is, when he was walking through, and it's almost like 12 o'clock, midnight, and it was a hot, mid-sun and hot, and there's nothing to eat for him, and he sat there in the tree wondering, say, how Lord is going to feed him. It so happened, when Pagadi was going with the food and saw the Mahatma there, he stopped by and cooked for Mahatma and fed him and then left. So therefore, Lord will come in some form or other. Even in the Vivekananda story, you will find somebody comes and feeds the Swami and goes away without any, because someone guides or directed by somebody else or some other force, and the person comes and feeds. So this Mahatma doesn't have worry, but as long as it's living, that body, mind and intellect is there for Loka Kalyanam will be using. Therefore, the maintenance of the body will go on, and that activities from the point of other people who says body is suffering or this is suffering, and from the point of Mahatma, the body, mind and intellect, he belongs to the Lord only. So, prakrutyeva karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati atmanam akartaram sapasyati. I am never a doer, even though and understood that whole thing is done by the Prakriti itself. Prakriti is Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. It's part of the Lord. Prakriti is nothing but Lakshmi Devi only, and Lord is Narayana. So, Lakshmi through Ashta Prakriti, Ashtalakshmi of all nature of Prakriti. When I look at the Prakriti in that attitude or reverential attitude, then it is Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is nothing but always with Narayana. Therefore, understanding it, Brahma Abhinnatvam Vijnanam. So Vijnanam is not just a Jnanam, but understanding that I am that Brahman, that is the Vijnanam. Therefore Vishesha Jnanam. So the Jnanam is that not an objective knowledge, but it is the knowledge of my own self, and that Abhinnatva Vijnanam Bhava Mokshasya Karanam. It is the Karanam, it is the means by which the bhavam, the samsara moksham, all problems of limitations are gone, and that is freedom from limitations is moksha. Moksha means not going somewhere or doing something else. Going somewhere means it is limited, it's not here and it is there. And that's what is again spatially limited. I am only part of total, then it is time, the object wise limited, and therefore it is desa kala vastu parichinnam. That's not moksha. Moksha is freedom from all limitations, and all limitations is freedom is Brahman only, and that is recognition that I am Brahman. I don't become Brahman. Becoming is nothing but understanding that I was, I am, and I shall be all the time Brahman. Like ring becoming gold. How does ring becoming gold? Ring has been gold only, but ring thought I am separate from gold, I am looking for a gold. So how long it has to look? It has to look itself, what is my true nature? I am gold. I am gold in this form, and I am all gold in that form. The form and attributes do not belong to the substantive I am. It only belongs to the superficial name and attributes, and that is what is called bhavam. The samsaram is only a superficial, and so bhava mokshasya karanam. When I understand, I have a substantive knowledge, then there is no more the samsara also. So yena advitiyam anandam brahma sampajyate buddhaha. So buddhaha, the wise people, they clearly have understood or gained brahma sampajyate. They gain Brahman. It's not gaining Brahman means they understood they are Brahman, which is yena advitiyam, which is non-dual, and anandam, it is completely full, limitless, and that Brahman people have realized. Therefore, there is no reason for them to cry. Even though when they see Mahatma, see other people crying, they come and console, and they don't say you are crying where there is no reason for you to cry. But says this is over, because in order for him to understand there is no reason for you to cry, he has to be awakened first. That's why Krishna, before teaching the Gita, he whips him up first. says, get up, you are lethargic. Shuddhasya Udaya Daurbalyam Taktvattishta Parantapa. Give up all these nonsensical identifications. Says essentially that's what Krishna first whips him up, and then only afterwards, when Arjuna focuses his problem, and surrenders, says, I do not know what is dharma, therefore please teach me, and Bruhi, please teach me, and Sishyastoham Twamyamam, I am your disciple. Only when Krishna discovered the discipleship of Arjuna, the teaching of Vedanta started. And for that one has to have a clear understanding, or the mind has to be clear, and that's what is Buddha, the one who understood Brahma Sampadhyate. And we take the sloka 226. Brahma bhuta bhutastu samsrutyai vidvan avartate punaha vignatavyamata samyak brahma binvatvam atmanah. Brahma bhuta bhutastu samsrutyai vidvan avartate punaha vignatavyamata samyak brahma binvatvam atmanah. So one who have samyak jnanam, abhinatvam atmanaha, the Brahman is not different from myself. One has to be known, and once you know it, therefore the Brahma bhuta bhutastu. So there is no samsrutya, so there is no rebirth for him, for Vidwan. So na avartate punaha, he never comes back punaha again. What do you mean coming back? So there is no rebirth. So punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, jatare sayanam, yaha samsare, bahudustare, krupaya pare, pahi murare. So Murari has to come and teach me that you have never birth, even this birth is also not yours. It's only part of the Leela also. The body is born and born, but you are not born. That's why natvevaham jatunasam natvam neve janadipaha nachaiva nabhavishyamaha sarvevayamataparam. There was never time you were not there, there was a time, because this birth you think is you are, but this body is not you. You are that eternal entity that is entering as though a particular body for dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavaram jara. Body is changing, but murtyu is nothing but leaving the body and entering another body. For you there is no death. But to understand that is what is required. Aham Brahmasmi has to be understood. Therefore, I never die, because I never born to start with. So, na avartate punaha, there is no more coming back. There is no more coming back or going anywhere else. So someone asked, do you believe in reincarnation? So Swamiji says, I don't believe in incarnation. First time birth itself I don't believe. Then what is question of reincarnation? Reincarnation is only if I have assume that I am born first, but when I am birthless entity and never I am no beginning for me. If I understood najayate mruyate vakachitu nayam bhutva na bhavido va na bhuyat ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Ajay, so there is never a birth and therefore never death. Only that is born has to die, and that knowledge comes only for those who have not understood. I am not the one that is being born, I am that which is eternally present, and that knowledge has to come through Vedanta. And the one who has that knowledge is na avartate punaha. There is no coming back again, and that has to be vijñātam. This is, that has to be known, and that is samyak jnanam. And in the next sloka it says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Vishuddham Param Swatas Siddham Nityanandaika Rasam Pratyaka Bhinnam Nirantaram Jayati. Pratyak Abhinnam Nirantaram Jayati. So it's a concluding statement of the teacher. It says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So it is essentially that Brahma is being defined using a Taittiriya Upanishad statement. Says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and that which is Anantam, which is infinite, which is of the nature of the pure existence and a nature of pure knowledge. It's not a jnana of something, it is jnanam itself. Jnanam is not, knowledge cannot be defined. If you go to the definitions and ask for what is knowledge, they can only define knowledge of XYZ, knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of biology, knowledge of something else, which is of something is again an objectification of the knowledge. But what exactly knowledge is undefinable. But Vedanta says that undefinable only because it is infinite, and that is essentially Brahman, and that is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Vishuddham. So that is pure, absolutely pure, because there is nothing other than it. And Param, which is supreme, there is nothing beyond that also. And Swata Siddham, it is at Swayam Siddham, that is self-existing. It's not exist Anya Adhina Sattvam. It is because of something else. It is by its own nature, because it's being infinite. And Nitya Anandaika Rasam, it is constant happiness and eternal, because it's full by itself all the time. Only the emptiness is the one that is really limited one, is really unhappy. So Pratyak Abhidham, it is not different by your own self that I am, and Nirantaram Jayati. So it's continuously has to be understood, and that is the eternal, that is the Jayati, that is the victory of knowing what I am. That is the fulfillment of the life. When I recognize that I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, that becomes a Kruta Krutyaha. Very purpose of life itself is served. There is nothing more to enjoy. Once I recognize I am the totality, because there is nothing beyond. There is no, beyond that there is no Param. And therefore it is the essential, the purpose of life itself is fulfilled. So he is essentially the one who is Krutakrityaha. He is accomplished what need to be accomplished, not only this life, all his lives essentially a fulfillment of this. So 7 generations of his above and below are glorified because of his presence. And Kulam Pavitram Janani Krutartha Viswambara Punyavati Jatena. So whole world itself is glorified by the presence of that kind of Mahatma, because says very few people want to go all the way. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatadadapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. See, Tattvajnanam is only those you have purified mind, and they are very rare indeed, because everybody is looking out for happiness outside. With this, Acharya completes in terms of I am and the Brahman is same. But what about the Jagat? This is what is going to be addressed from the few slokas next. Analysis of Jagat and Brahman. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.